guys. So it's about 3:45 a.m. I woke up about 15 minutes ago, so I can hopefully get to Cannon Beach on the coast of Oregon in about 2 hours and catch sunrise or morning blue hour or whatever. I'm currently in Vancouver, Washington, which is just north of Portland. It is cold and misty outside, so even if I do go to Cannon Beach, it's going to be like freezing. But at that point, because it's by the coast, it's going to be a little cooler there. But hey, I'm pretty excited. I have a lot planned for the rest of the day and tomorrow, and sometimes that requires waking up really early so I can get as much done in a day as possible. So I would check into you either after I've made some progress or by the time that I actually get to the beach. Okay, so we just got here. And this is kind of like the hardest thing to find ever. It's 5:30 a.m. and the sky is like just starting to turn blue, but it's still like really dark. So glad that I got here early enough that I'm not wasting any light, but still gotta be quick, so I gotta get there and set up kind of quickly. So later today, the other plans is after shooting here, probably going to take a nap, only because we did go to bed at like midnight or a little past midnight and woke up at 3:30, which is definitely not ideal, but couldn't sleep, so whatever. And then go drive down to the Umpqua National Forest, and there are 3 trails that I want to hit up there. And then probably just gonna like sleep in the car. And then tomorrow head to the Samuel Boardman Scenic Corner and the Painted Hills on the way back to Idaho. So a few days ago on Thursday, we also had like another 3:30 a.m. start, and I drove us from Nampa, Idaho to Portland, Oregon, which was not a fun drive. Had 2 shoots, totally crashed that night, and then yesterday had another 2 shoots, tried to do some self-portraits, got some, then now we're here. So it's definitely been a busy couple of days, and then the rest of the day and tomorrow are going to be even busier with a whole lot of driving, and kind of hurts because I already have like a lot of joint problems and whatever, or I have a lot of hip problems specifically, but driving doesn't really add to that. But I guess kind of anything from the art, I guess. But whatever, gonna walk to the beach, gonna take some pictures there, and then gonna hit the road again. Okay, so it's just about 10 past 7 right now, and we are wrapping up and about to leave. Both because we got, or I guess a few reasons, because we got the shots that I wanted to get. There are a lot of people coming out now, unfortunately, and my shutter button got stuck. It kind of happens when it gets like a little water around the button. It's happened once before with my old camera, with my T3i, when I got caught in the rain one day and it got stuck. This is the first time that's happened to the Mark III. I've had it for a really long time though, and I've kind of been putting it through hell. So it just needs to dry off for a little bit, but luckily we're gonna be driving for a while and we're gonna get food and nap. So it's gonna have time to dry off, thankfully. Really hope that's kind of the rest of it and I didn't just ruin my camera at the start of my fucking trip. But got some cool pictures here at Haystack Rock. Fun fact, part of the Goonies was actually shot here, and I think one of the other locations that we're going to is also where part of the Goonies was shot. It was shot on like 2 beaches, but yeah, fun trivia. I love that movie. It was just a better kind of perspective of the rock. It's so cool, and I have like a lot of ideas because they're kind of like 2 little rocks beside it, so it'd be cool to kind of like play with the perspective or the negative space in between that. But like, if you look here, all these people, so not really happening. Here's the other side of the beach, which it's also super foggy and the light is freaking perfect, but people. So on to the next location. It's whatever. So we are just under 4 hours away right now. My makeup is really struggling now that I notice it. I ended up sleeping a little bit longer than I anticipated, but to be fair, I was really tired because I really haven't gotten all the sleep in the last few days and have been like really busy and always on the move. But so we're gonna end up being there just like an hour and a half later than I expected, but like it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. if we don't get to all 3 trails that we wanted to get to, it's not the end of the world. They're all really short trails too, but like I said, it's not the end of the world if we only get to like 2 of them, or even just 1 of them. Getting food right now, taking a mild break just so I can stretch my legs. I've been doing all of the driving, and I will continue to do all of the driving, which is kind of unfortunate, but I guess it happens. It is what it is. I slept in my makeup, and frankly, I'm probably gonna just keep it on until tonight. I don't want to like take it off and then reapply it. You can't even see my face in a majority of my photos, so it doesn't really matter. And the only people who really notice it are people who see me like in person, and I don't really care about them because I don't really know them, so it's whatever. But yeah, hopefully the next time that I check in with you guys, I will be there and on our way to take pictures. We made it. We're hiking to a waterfall now. There's one other person here. You can kind of see their car in the background, but bit of a longer drive than expected, and probably won't have time to do anything else today, but that's totally fine, as long as it comes out pretty here. But we picked up a hitchhiker on the way, which is my idea. Fun fact, I have hitchhiked before. I've hitchhiked many times before, actually, and hasn't been something that I've recently done, just because it is inconvenient and I'm trying to keep to a schedule. But a few years ago, it was kind of a story, but it's a very humbling experience, both hitchhiking, especially hitchhiking, but also picking up hitchhikers. This poor lad was waiting for his friend because he was trying to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, and he's been out here for 4 months, and he was going to meet his friend, but his friend's car broke down, so he was just kind of like walking around and picked him up. And I don't know, I like listening to people's stories and kind of like why they are where they are, how they are where they are. And it's so funny because like we're out here in like the middle of nowhere in Oregon, and he's from Pennsylvania, and I feel like I always meet people from Pennsylvania like everywhere that I go for some reason. But he was really cool. His name was Evelyn. But I don't know, it's a very humbling experience to be at the mercy of strangers, and it also is kind of like a reality check to pick somebody up and like listen to them, just because like I think reality is very subjective. It's very much determined in who you are, and like I don't know, I like philosophy a lot, and there's this guy Immanuel Kant who's like a pretty popular dude, but he says that there's like 2 kind of universes or worlds. There's the, I'm gonna get it wrong, like the perceived world, I don't remember the phenomenal world, which is like the world as we like perceive it, and then there's the noumenal world, which is the world as how it is regardless of our perception. And it's impossible to see what the noumenal world is like, because like once we experience the world, like it's through our own lens. And I think that's so cool. Like it can either be, the noumenal world can either be exactly as we perceive it, or it can be entirely different, or it can be somewhere in between. And I just think it's like so cool. So I don't know, that made my day, honestly, more than any kind of hiking or pictures could. But yeah, I like meeting little weirdos like myself, so that was good. I can hear the waterfall right now, and I'll kind of check back in when we're at the bottom of this trail, but yeah. Made it, we're at the waterfall. I just set up my camera. It's totally working fine compared to this morning when the shutter button got stuck. It was a little stuck, but honestly, like, not to be like weird about it, but like I used a tampon to kind of like mush it around all the buttons and everything just to pick up some of the moisture, and it totally worked. So I don't know, life hack tip. Dropped my battery when I was changing it into the river, so probably lost a battery in the process of all of this, but I don't know, I'd rather lose a battery than a camera or a lens or something like that. But I brought a neutral density variable filter with me, so I can do some long exposures. I have everything set up, just need to kind of use a makeshift waterproof housing, which is a plastic bag, honestly, that I have with me, just because it is like pretty misty as a result of like this giant waterfall. I'm sorry I couldn't like get it in the frame of me talking. It's just really loud, as I'm sure you can hear it in the background, but I'll have some cell phone pictures and other pictures here that I'm taking of it. But yeah, just kind of wanted to give a quick kind of what my plan is, and I'll see you after when we're done. I did it! We took a lot of pictures. So just kind of a quick kind of blurb. A lot of people ask me like how I do my self-portraits, and usually I just like bring a remote. I have like, it's me by myself with a remote and my tripod. Today I have my friend with me, drove all the way from Idaho together, or I drove all the way from Idaho. And I have the camera on my tripod, and I kind of put the tripod where I want. I pick the focus point, and I just kind of tell him to make sure that I'm in focus and to press the button. I love going places by myself. However, in a situation like this, I need to bring a friend, and this is my best friend, just because it is pretty dangerous, like, especially in an isolated location that I'm unfamiliar with. This is my first time here, so it's not like going to like somewhere in the mountains of New Hampshire that I've hiked previously before. And on top of that, it's like this huge waterfall. I kind of walked across to like the other side of it, and it was like pretty dangerous, pretty slippery. I didn't slip, I did not get hurt, thankfully. But yeah, in a situation like this, it's definitely like safety as opposed to anything else. Safety first. Don't want to get hurt, don't want to lose my fucking camera. That's the main thing, honestly, is that I'd probably test my luck just because I'm a stubborn asshole, but I don't want, like, I put my tripod kind of like in the river, like in the rocks, and he held onto it with one hand and pushed the button with the other hand, is that like I'd be so worried about it, like it falling over. I have a Manfrotto, but even like earlier this morning, I got a lot of sand in kind of some of the joints, so like they're kind of having trouble closing all the way. I have some Q-tips in my car that I can use to clean it out, but yeah, there are a few. I tried to like move the tripod, camera, whatever around to a few different angles. They all kind of look the same though. Unfortunately, there are some cool spots, but they're kind of what I think would be cool perspectives. But I don't want to like risk walking across something unstable or slippery with my backpack, or not being prepared, or I don't want to risk, because one spot was like too steep. It was like by a ledge, and it was like way too steep and too narrow, so I don't want to risk that. I'm happy with what I got. Wish I could do more, but I'm trying to learn to listen to the little red flags that go off into my head and not push my limits. So yeah, gonna head back now. Maybe have time to head to another location. I have to check and see how far it is on Google Maps, but we might just end up calling it a night and trying to find somewhere to eat, trying to find like a towel or something like that. But yeah, I'll see you at our next location, our next event. So we got to the other location just a little bit too late. The hot springs we were trying to go to, the hike was a little too steep and there just wasn't enough light. We got there like maybe like half an hour, 20 minutes before sunset, which wasn't enough time. Then we tried going to Tokati, sounds like Tokapi, but Tokati waterfall, which was like right there, but again, it was too dark and that one was more covered by trees, and I really don't want to walk around in the woods at night in the dark. So yeah, we're just gonna start driving to the coast again. It's 8 o'clock and I'm already like so freaking tired, but whatever. I probably could have gone to all the locations that I wanted to if I didn't sleep so much this afternoon, but I definitely think that it's better to sleep and miss out on a few things and leave them for another time than it is to be tired and possibly fall asleep at the wheel. So yeah, trying to pick battles that I can win. So just gonna start heading to the coast again, sleep, maybe sleep tonight and drive a little bit more in the morning, or just get there and sleep there all night so when I wake up I'll be there. But really excited once again, another early start tomorrow morning, but tomorrow's the last day of the adventure, so yay! We made it to the park. We made it to the Samuel Boardman Park. We are walking kind of up above the ledge now before we go down to the beach. But this is the other location where the Goonies movie was shot at, and it's really cool. Going to try, yeah. I'll have like better photos posted of it. But kind of a rough morning.
Got here at about 1:30 last night, slept in the parking lot, and we've just kind of been like wandering. We woke up at 5. It's about 6:30 or just before 6:30, so it's a little, not a lot of sleep, but to be expected. Hoping to spend a bit of time here just because I really want, this is kind of the entire reason that I wanted to come to Oregon, was this location, so definitely going to try to spend like as much time as possible here before we have to head out and drive back. So yeah, hopefully gonna take a lot of cool pictures. It's about an hour and a half shooting up on kind of like the ridge looking down at the beach, and then we kind of slid down to the beach only because the trail here is like super steep and we definitely fell a few times, but definitely worth it. Going to try to explore here a little bit more for a few more hours. In a place like this, I'd really rather like overshoot than leave and regret not taking more pictures, so that's kind of the plan. But just kind of, yeah. Super excited to take more photos here. There's like one of the natural bridges, one of the natural arches like over that way, and I want to see if I can line it up so it looks like I'm in the arch, but like it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't want to like risk it only because it's really foggy and I don't know if I'm hearing waves or thunder, so I gotta act quick because I don't learn my lesson. I don't think, like, I check the forecast before I make plans. Like every day I've been checking the forecast and it's been like sunny and partially cloudy, but nope. So we'll see, I guess. So it's about 9:30 a.m. by the time we got back to the car, and had quite a bit of trouble getting from the beach back to the car just because it was like a really steep climb back up. And I mean climb like a literal climb, not just a walk. But we made it. It was kind of chilly this morning, really foggy, and then all of a sudden we just like drove and it was like literally just like a wall of fog over the ocean, and we drove out of it. It was kind of like being in a cloud. Like just immediately went from like foggy and misty and like ominous to blue skies and sunny, and it's really nice. But off to Idaho, we just got pancakes from a place called The Spoon, which is a little local kind of place, and it's really good. But just under a 10-hour drive to Idaho. Hope I make it back in time before midnight, so wish me luck. So we drove from the park, Samuel Boardman Park, all the way across the state of Oregon to the Boise airport to return the car. About 650 miles, about 11 hours of driving, probably a little bit more. Got back and returned it at 12:45 a.m. and got back to Nampa here where I'm staying at about 1:30 a.m. And now I'm on the floor just because it's the best light. Of course, in the process of driving back and returning the car, I dropped my phone and cracked the screen right in front of the camera button, so there's like weird kind of like reflections and light bouncing all around, but it's whatever. I hope you don't mind me laying on the carpet for this. But yeah, drove about 2,000 miles in the last 4 days. It's just what happens. I'm freaking exhausted, freaking tired, but pretty happy overall. Can't wait to crack in and start editing these pictures. Yeah, I realized I get to travel a lot, but it really isn't glamorous, and most of the time when I am shooting, when I'm going somewhere to work, I'm driving from shoot to shoot to shoot, and it's not really like seeing the world. I've seen just pretty much a lot of studios and hotel rooms, and then days when I can kind of get to appreciate and explore the place that I'm staying in, it's very hectic. They're very long days. Try to cram in a lot of stuff as much as possible, but hopefully I'll be able to come back here and be able to photograph it better. I already took a look at some of the pictures and they're okay, but like not very original, I'd say. Not like, just very basic compositions and angles and whatever, and I'm kind of frustrated that I didn't do more, but at the same time I didn't really have time to like do more. But hey, one day I'll come back and I'll be a lot better. It'll be a lot better. Everything will be a lot better.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this kind of gave you like a cool kind of insight to stuff I do. I'll make more videos like this, or more kind of videos where I talk, where it's like a few days kind of all summarized into one, kind of giving you clips as I do something on each day. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it.